Have you ever felt like your own worst enemy? Like something inside you holds you back from going after what you truly want? That, my friends, is the sneaky beast of self-sabotage. It whispers doubts in our ears, makes us hit the brakes when we should be flooring it, and keeps us stuck in cycles of fear and inaction. And trust me, I've had my own wrestling matches with this beast. Years ago, before I dared to own my story and step on that TED stage, self-sabotage had me bound and gagged. We live in a culture that worships at the altar of perfection. Social media feeds us this steady diet of curated lives, making us feel like we're not enough just as we are. But here's the truth. Perfection is an illusion, a shiny, unattainable myth that keeps us small and afraid. When we chase perfection, we're really chasing the impossible. We set ourselves up for inevitable failure, which then feeds the cycle of self-sabotage. We start to believe those whispers that tell us we're not worthy, not capable, not enough. I spent years in the research lab studying vulnerability, shame, and courage. And you know what I learned? The most wholehearted people, the ones who live with a sense of worthiness, they're not the ones striving for some flawless existence. They're the ones who have embraced their imperfections, their messy, beautiful humanity. They've learned to befriend their vulnerabilities instead of running from them. So how do we escape the perfectionism trap? It starts with giving ourselves permission to be human, to make mistakes, to fall down, to get back up and try again. It's about recognizing that our imperfections don't diminish our worth. They are the very things that make us unique and lovable. Think of a mosaic. It's the imperfections, the cracks and chips in each piece, that create the beautiful whole. You, my friend, are a mosaic. Own it. Celebrate it. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine your future self. This is you, but you've achieved your goals. You've overcome those self-sabotaging habits, and you're living a life that feels aligned with your values and purpose. What do you see? What do you feel? Hold on to that vision. That's the you that you're working towards. Visualization is a powerful tool because it helps us to connect with our desires on a deeper level. It's not just about daydreaming. It's about creating a clear mental picture of what we want to achieve, and, more importantly, how we want to feel. When we can see ourselves succeeding, when we can feel the joy and satisfaction of reaching our goals, we're much more likely to take the actions necessary to make it happen. Our brains are wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. So when we focus on the positive emotions associated with our goals, we're essentially tricking our brains into seeing success as the more pleasurable option. This can help us to overcome those pesky self-sabotaging tendencies that often stem from fear and doubt. Take some time each day to connect with your future self. Write down your goals, create a vision board, or simply spend a few minutes visualizing yourself living your best life. The more you can embody that future self, the easier it will be to make choices that align with your vision. Our lives are often a whirlwind of activity, leaving us feeling scattered and disconnected from ourselves. That's where rituals come in. A ritual is simply a deliberate practice that helps us to create structure, intention, and connection in our lives. It's about creating small, meaningful moments that ground us and remind us of what's important. When it comes to overcoming self-sabotage, rituals can be incredibly powerful. They help us to create a sense of stability and consistency, which can be especially helpful when we're feeling anxious or uncertain. By incorporating rituals into our daily routines, we're essentially creating a framework for success. A morning ritual might include things like meditation, journaling, or simply taking a few moments to set your intentions for the day. An evening ritual might involve gratitude practice, reviewing your goals, or simply winding down with a relaxing activity. The key is to find what works for you and to be consistent with it. Rituals are not about adding more to your to-do list. They're about creating space for intentionality and self-care. They're about showing up for yourself in small but meaningful ways, which can have a profound impact on your overall well-being. Chapter 4. Self-compassion, your secret weapon. We can be so hard on ourselves, can't we? We beat ourselves up over mistakes, we dwell on our shortcomings, and we speak to ourselves in ways that we would never dream of speaking to someone we love. This, my friends, is the opposite of self-compassion. Self-compassion is about treating ourselves with the same kindness, understanding, and acceptance that we would offer to a good friend. It's about recognizing that we are all imperfect, flawed human beings who are doing the best we can with what we have. When we practice self-compassion, we create a safe and supportive inner environment where we can grow and thrive. We're less likely to engage in self-sabotaging behaviors because we're no longer trying to punish ourselves into being better. So, the next time you find yourself caught in a cycle of self-criticism, try to pause and offer yourself some compassion. Talk to yourself as you would talk to a friend who is going through a difficult time. Remind yourself that you are worthy of love and belonging, even when you make mistakes. Chapter 5. The Micro-Challenge Method. Sometimes, the biggest obstacle to achieving our goals is the sheer magnitude of the task ahead. We can become so overwhelmed by the thought of everything we need to do that we end up doing nothing at all. This is where the power of micro-challenges comes in. A micro-challenge is simply a small, manageable task that moves us closer to our larger goals. It's about breaking down those big, scary goals into bite-sized pieces that feel less daunting. Instead of focusing on the entire mountain, we focus on taking that first step, and then the next, and the next. The beauty of micro-challenges is that they create a sense of momentum. Each small victory, no matter how insignificant it may seem, gives us a boost of motivation and encourages us to keep going. And as we start to rack up those small wins, we begin to believe in our ability to achieve even bigger things. So, if you're feeling stuck, try setting yourself a micro-challenge. It could be something as simple as spending 5 minutes working on a project, making a healthy meal, or going for a short walk. The key is to make it something that feels achievable, and then to celebrate your success. Chapter 6. The Failure Fund. Let's talk about failure for a moment. We're conditioned to fear it, to avoid it at all costs. But here's the thing. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's a necessary part of the journey. Every successful person you can think of has encountered countless setbacks and failures along the way. The difference is that they didn't let those failures define them. They learned from them, they adapted, and they kept going. One of the biggest reasons we self-sabotage is because we're afraid of failing. We're afraid of what other people will think. We're afraid of disappointing ourselves, and we're afraid of the unknown. But what if we could shift our perspective on failure? What if we could see it as an opportunity for growth and learning rather than a sign of defeat? That's where the concept of a failure fund comes in. It's not about expecting to fail. It's about being prepared for the possibility. It's about having a plan in place so that if or when we do encounter setbacks, we can bounce back more quickly and with less self-judgment. Your failure fund can be financial, emotional, or logistical. It might mean setting aside some money to cover unexpected expenses, creating a support system of friends and family who can offer encouragement, or simply having a backup plan in case things don't go as expected. Outro. We've covered a lot of ground today, from embracing our imperfections to creating rituals, practicing self-compassion, and even befriending failure. Remember, overcoming self-sabotage is not a destination, it's a journey, an ongoing process of self-discovery and growth. There will be days when you stumble, when those old patterns resurface, and that's okay. Be kind to yourself, dust yourself off, and keep moving forward. You are capable of creating a life that feels aligned with your values and your dreams. Don't let self-sabotage steal your joy or your potential. You've got this. I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts, your struggles, and your triumphs in the comments below. Let's create a community of support and encouragement as we navigate this journey together. And before I go, a quick note on the music you've been hearing throughout this video. I chose something a bit dark, a bit moody, because let's be honest, overcoming our inner critic can be a battle. But just like that music, there's beauty in the struggle, a depth and a richness that comes from confronting our shadows and emerging stronger on the other side.